Hey, Dave O'Connor here, president of MoveMatcher, and we're in Chicago today with Reside Living rewards manager Li Feng. Good to be joined by you today.
Excited to be here. Excited to talk about MoveMatcher.
Excellent. So we are kind of kicking 2020 off with a little touch base on how things have been going for Lee and his team using MoveMatcher and sharing that with their residents over the last basically half of 2019. Right off the top, first question I've got is kind of what has been your staff's experience working with MoveMatcher, both the product itself as well as our team?
Honestly, it has been a great experience. From the onboarding to the actual launch of it has been super easy. Resident feedback has been great about it also, just because it's so easy to be able to look at one page and see all your different options rather than having to search site to site. It's been a great tool for our leasing agents to be able to use to close with new residents, and also just a perk for residents to be able to take advantage of on top.
Yeah, that's excellent. So really glad to hear that. Over the last year or two, we've also been trying to take a look at what perks and additive benefits we can offer for both the residents and the building staff, so that everyone's feeling like they're a part of an additive experience for moving, which from a lot of the research we've done is actually the third most stressful part of life itself. So we believe we're creating a really nice middle ground between being able to, as you say, see everything on one page, from ratings and reviews to actual price points in comparison from one mover to another, without also forcing your building staff or the property management firm to obligate the resident to one mover versus another.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I think giving them options is a great way of really creating that bond with them. I think forcing them in one direction, just one particular person to work with, just as, to me, it feels like it's something that we're getting something out of it and you should just use it. And that's not the case with Reside. We want to be able to give our residents more options of whatever suits their lifestyle, whether it's something a little bit more of a white glove service or something that's just, I need to get it out of my house.
Yeah.
MoveMatcher really provides all those levels of options that we like to give our residents.
That's great. And have you guys seen your staff and your residents be able to take advantage of MoveMatcher both for the move-in and the move-out process?
Yes. Whenever we do our renewals, we always attach a letter with it to suggest if you are going to renew, we love for you to stay. But if you choose that it is your time to depart from us, then we'd love to be able to help you facilitate those options as well. And I think in turn, it really produces more of that we care feeling, and I think that resonates with residents. Even though they may be moving out of our building, it may give them the opportunity to really want to come back to us in the future, because we show that we actually do care about their living experience, whether it's with us or with another property.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing that's been on our mind is how your staff has taken advantage of the rewards that MoveMatcher provides to the property management team.
That has been great. We've reinvested those into our events that we host for our properties. So that has been a great added benefit, at least for the Reside Living side, just to be able to supplement a little of our expenses, to be able to provide, to, again, give back more to our residents' living experience.
That's excellent. Good to hear. Quick question about your personal experience using MoveMatcher. So have you used MoveMatcher yourself? And if so, what has been your experience either doing the research of movers on our system or actually working with any of the movers that you've found from MoveMatcher, if so?
I do actually have personal experience. I recently purchased a home in Portage Park, and unfortunately, my wife actually did all the moving for us because it was during my bachelor party that I was out of town.
Lucky you.
It just happened to work out that
Nicely times.
But we got set up with MoveMatcher, set up through MoveMatcher, excuse me, and we got hooked up with expert movers. They were fantastic from beginning to end. They gave me a quote that was very reasonable. Moving it into my new home was a little bit of a challenge, especially with my couch, and they the movers had actually proposed that I either get rid or sell the couch because it was such a difficult move into my basement area. And my wife just pretty much gave me the go-ahead. It was like, if you need to scratch the walls, we need to get this couch in here. We're not getting rid of it at this time. And they were like, okay, as long as you tell us it's all right, we'll do what you want us to do. They were absolutely fantastic from beginning to end. They were able to set everything up, put everything where it needed to be on the floor. They were inquisitive on stuff they weren't sure about. I mean, the whole move experience with them was absolutely fantastic. And she raved about the experience. She was so happy, just because she was the only person moving our house. So having that extra help and that hand and all the extra guys that were there was such a tremendous experience.
You know, you actually went through a first-hand experience of using MoveMatcher to get your own mover. What about that experience would you say was added, you know, some level of ease or convenience for you in terms of being able to look at all those movers on one page?
The reason why I like it is because you are able to see all those reviews from Google and Yelp on that single page. You're not having to do more research off that one page.
Okay.
So that's super convenient. That's definitely one of my main points that I like pointing out. Just because finding a mover already is just stressful. I'm actually going through the process again, so to help my parents. So it's stressful.
No bachelor party this time.
No bachelor party this time, so I'm on the hook.
Yeah.
And it's just such a stressful experience, and be able to take that stress away and alleviate that. Just to be able to look and say, okay, this is the price point I like. These guys seem to be backed by people who really enjoyed using the service and really promote them. So it gives you more confidence in the selection you make for those important. Everything in your home is important to you in some form or fashion. So you don't want it to get broken. You don't want it to get scuffed. And having those reviews right there to be viewed and to really give you peace of mind in your selection is huge.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about, you know, how and when the conversation gets brought up with residents about MoveMatcher, particularly in the sense of, you know, we've made some ways for property management firms and staff on the ground level to really set up MoveMatcher in a set it and forget it format through email templates,
Very much so.
website. But I'm also curious to hear your perspective on if or how residents and property staff are actually having a dialogue in any way about MoveMatcher and kind of how that goes.
It's funny you should mention that, actually. I was visiting our Belmont property not too long ago, and I was walking through our leasing office, and I just so happened to be walking through at that same time when one of our leasing agents was speaking to a resident that was actually just coming to town from Texas, if I remember, moving here from work. And she was actually just going through the process of talking about MoveMatcher if she hadn't decided on it yet, if she was, since it was going to be a cross-country move, that this would be a good option for her. So she actually got the email ready that you guys had actually sent for us, the template, placed a couple of words, sent it right over to her, so she had a reference, physical reference to have on her phone with her once she left the office. And I saw her again back on property a couple of weeks later once she had actually moved into the property, and she was raving about the whole experience. She said it was so easy, she didn't have to worry about a thing, everything arrived wrapped, ready to go, nothing was broken. It was a huge load off her mind to not have to stress out and worry about that, especially when you're moving cross country. It's just such a huge stressful load on you that it's everything you love. It's being moved in a huge moving box.
I've done a cross-country move myself, and at the time, I mean, this was like 10 years ago, I did not have any kind of real comparison solution in place. So I just kind of rolled the dice on the mover that I ended up going with. So I would have to imagine for residents to have the building provide at least a resource for, you know, navigating the different mover options you might have.
I think that's huge. It's, again, our way of showing that we actually care about you living with us. And that experience starts with the move. You know, you signed with us, that means you're part of our family, and we like to take care of family.
You know, I'd like to hear about what, if any, feedback or interest you've heard about from residents about the Dinner and a Mover program, the $30 Grubhub gift card that sort of collectively offer to residents after their move?
Again, I have had some feedback from our residents regarding it, and whether it's moving in or moving out, it's, again, one of our ways of showing that we care about our clients or our customers. Whether it's they're moving into our building or moving out of it, we still want that experience to resonate with the resident, to let them know that we do care, whether they're moving out of our building or in, that we want them to come back. And we hope that us showing that with Move Matcher and the Dinner and a Mover promotion is amazing, because whether it's our home or their new home, their first meal is a kind of way of celebrating their move.
It's a great way of putting it. I had always thought about it as like it's a great way to relieve the stress of at least one decision.
Totally.
But I like the celebration angle better. That's much more delightful. I like that. So I've also got a question. Just for your experience, I know you've worked in some really high-end buildings and across an array of buildings now as well with Reside, and I'm just curious if you've noticed any trends, any new challenges or opportunities that you've observed with the moving experience that residents are having, really not even necessarily tied to Move Matcher, just with the experience overall.
Typically, it's, like you said, always really stressful. Whether it's the movers not knowing where to go or not having the right paperwork before they get to the building, which elevators to use. Those small little factors can affect the experience of the move very, very easily. And we haven't really had any more of those challenges since we've brought on Move Matcher as a partner, which is
Nice.
a huge delight, because the people that our residents are working with now have the confidence to know that they don't have to stress out as much about the move experience, because the people coming to our buildings typically have at least a little bit of knowledge of how our building works, where the exits are, where the proper elevator use is, and so forth. It makes that moving experience so much easier. When I've worked at other buildings, it's always been a challenge of having them send the correct certificates of insurance, and by the time they get to the building, then they're sitting on the dock for an hour because we're waiting on paperwork. It causes more stress to the resident. It costs them more money. This way, since we've brought on Move Matcher, it's kind of alleviated that, which is huge, because property managers across our brand are already super busy just trying to make our residents happy and making sure they have a great living experience. And this has been a tremendous tool to be able to help us do that.
Good to hear. Kind of wrapping up here, I know that you've taken on a new leadership opportunity within Reside Living's rewards program for residents. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in 2020 in terms of discovering new ways to offer or engage with your residents around your own resident rewards program?
Well, with that, we're really trying to kind of bring it more into the 21st century, get into more of an app format, and really be able to kind of give more back to our residents. We're looking at a lot of different platforms. One major thing that I'm really excited about is really bringing more attention to not only our partners, but actually doing a day that we're planning in April. That's going to be really cool. It's going to be called Rewards Day. We're going to do a little countdown where we're going to work with all of our partners to be able to make a one-day great offering for everyone to be able to come out and take advantage of the rewards program.
That's awesome.
So we're really excited about that.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hope you guys have a very prosperous 2020.
Likewise.
0 vacancies. And if we can help with the move-ins and move-outs, then
You'll
it's
be
a
our
win
first
for
call.
everyone. Awesome. Thank you, Lee. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.